Hey, good day everyone. Here's another video by You Can Do It. So today we're going to be working on our 2005 BMW Z4. What's happening, as you can see, is there's some transmission fluid leaking, and even on the driveway you can see a few stains. The transmission oil pan gasket is leaking. I took a look at this yesterday, and what I try to do is I torqued the bolts, and a lot of them were loose, but I think they've just been over torqued. And I don't know when the last time this was changed. So we've got the parts here. Let me go to my oil. All right, guys. So as we're gonna change the transmission oil pan gasket. That's the gasket with the part number. We're also gonna do the filter since we're opening it up anyways. And we got our aftermarket transmission fluid. So interesting thing I wanted to share with you. I called the dealership to see if there is any specific transmission fluid for this vehicle, and they don't even carry it because they said it's just a standard aftermarket ATF, which you can use anything that is Dexon 4, which I found very odd. You know, usually with these European vehicles, they're very sensitive, and you want to use the BMW or whatever the manufacturer's recommended transmission is, but they actually recommended it, and they stated a lot of people use the Valvoline synthetic, so that's what we're going to use. And as you can see over here, you know, it does meet the Dexon 4 requirement, and it'll work on BMWs with various transmissions. And I just picked this up from Walmart for about 20 bucks. The gasket at the dealership was about $25, but I got it at a local parts store for about 10 bucks. The filter was about 15 bucks. So 15 and 20, 35, and let's say 10 for the gasket, $35. And maybe it'll take an hour, hour and a half to remove the pan and the gasket, but it's gonna be a big oil mess. So I'm gonna jack up the vehicle on 4 jack stands and have maybe 2 jacks securing it just for added safety, and keep you posted. There's just gonna be a series of T27 bolts, and there's a drain plug. I believe it's gonna be a T40 right there. All right, everyone. Here's the Z4 transmission that we're going to replace. Unfortunately, our drain plug is stripped, so it's not going to come out. So what I want to do is I want to remove the other hex, I believe 27 bolts. There's probably, you know, close to 20 of them. Take all of them out, and this is going to become a mess. I'm going to have my oil pan underneath here and drop all this. I was able to loosen the fill plug, which is on top right there, right here, and I opened that with a 8mm wrench. One of these, you know, Allen wrenches, and for additional leverage, what I did is I stuck this pipe in there and pulled it. But for some reason, this screw is stripped. I have seen where people have used the vice grip and taken a chisel to take it out, but you probably got to replace that nut. But I'm just gonna, you know, as you can see, there's a lot of leakage here. I'm just gonna take out the bolts and remove the pan. So what I did is I loosened all the screws, and a boatload of oil fell. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it drain for about 10 or 15 minutes before I, you know, take out all the bolts. Hey guys, so I got the gasket out and I got the transmission pan out. We don't have any metal shavings, but I think right here is where the leak was, and it's hard and brittle. There's probably a few other cracks. I'm gonna take a look at this in detail, but just clean this out. Looks like the transmission oil is still good. Magnets are good, not a lot of metal shavings, just normal wear and tear. So we're just gonna clean this up, put our new gasket on, and try to put this back together. All right, so there are 22 bolts on this transmission pan. All right, guys, while this continues to drain, what we have to do is remove this filter. There's a part right here that just slides in, but the bottom part, I don't know if you can see, there's a T40 bolt holding this clamp. So we're gonna remove that bolt, and then there are a series of T40 bolts. I believe if we loosen them, the valve body becomes loose, and we can drain all the transmission oil from the torque converter, or most of it. So we're gonna try that. All right, guys, I took out the filter and just also realized there was another T40 screw in the back holding a clip. So that clip snapped. Not a big deal because we have a new filter anyways. The one thing you want to make sure is this filter has a O-ring. You want to make sure you get that O-ring out and it doesn't get stuck in there. So it's pretty easy to identify where the clips are going to go for the filter. They're built in. And what we're going to try to do is loosen some of these T40, only the T40 screws, and we're going to be able to drain some more oil. All right, so this is our new filter. As you can see, you have a area right here for the T40 screw and a clip right there for the T40 screw. We're just going to put some oil on that O-ring just to make sure it seats properly. All right, guys, we've got our new gasket in. It only goes one way, but surprisingly, the old one is a thick black rubber gasket. This one is a thin, almost like 2 sheets of paper. And I don't know if it's gonna hold, but I called the BMW dealership and they assured me that the new gasket is green and it's very thin. We'll see how this goes, but you wanna make sure that the gasket is aligned with the holes. And we're just gonna put this in. We're gonna put back our screws on and take our time so this doesn't mess up. So, because this is pretty critical. All right, guys, I got the pan up there and I've put on all the bolts. I just threaded them on, you know, just barely, maybe turn them about 2 times so they sit in there. Now what I'm gonna do is a star pattern. I'm gonna, you know, tight this one and then go across and try to seal it consistently, you know, do one bolt here, then right across, then sort of zigzag. And then at the end, I'm going to torque this with my torque wrench to 7.5 foot-pounds of torque. And you got to be very careful you don't over torque it, because then you're going to rip the gasket. All right, guys. All right, we took the fill plug off. Fill plug goes right here. It's hard to see. Here it is. I'm gonna try to put some light right there. All right, so I got my hose here. I got my bottle of transmission fluid in the back. And I'm gonna have someone pump it, and we're gonna fill this up.